Welcome back to my channel. This is your host. My name is Paul, and welcome back to my channel. This is Royal Bangalore Food. Today, we're going to talk about how do you find out or rather source your food manufacturers. Where are they available? Are they next door neighbors, different district, different state, or different country? It's very easy to go ahead and source them because today we want to talk about in terms of food product. Since I'm into food product, ready to eat convenience food, which is going to be the future of plant-based food. So how do we go ahead and source them? And we're going to look at it in terms of what are the important points that we need to discuss and get some agreements sanctioned. So I'm just going to give you a nutshell, short and crisp and sweet. So stick on, go ahead and let's follow this and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it if you made it to the deep end and also watch my previous videos to get some inspirations. How do we go ahead and launch a food product brand? How do you do a private label? How do we identify a great manufacturer to work around with you and to get your sales really soar on the e-commerce brand? So without wasting further ado, let's kickstart and let's dive in. So one of the greatest points that you need to know is about how do we go ahead and source the manufacturers. Once you come on the idea, right, you need to understand, since it's all about food. So understand my channel is about Royal Bangalore Food. So we're going to talk about the food product, how to identify a manufacturer and what are the discussion points. First of all, you have to go on to Google. No two ways about it. Is the internet, because today most of the manufacturers also have a website page. They also conduct a lot of networking, and also there are a lot of exhibitions or food exhibitions. We have Ahar in Delhi, which always happens every year. We have state associations, we have catering associations. So every manufacturer comes there. If you happen to go ahead and network specifically in LinkedIn, in Google, also the greatest search you can ever also find is on social media, specifically on YouTube. Today everybody having a video channel, so you have to go ahead and make sure that your research falls in place. Now, what do we look for a manufacturer? First of all, you have to know whatever idea that you think through, the manufacturer will be there and able to do it. And if they are not doing it, find a closest associate or a closest manufacturer who can actually go ahead and develop your IP, your intellectual property based, recipe management based, or probably certain ingredient, a niche ingredient, or a very rare ingredient, or a GI tag. What is GI tag? A GI tag is given by Indian government. Ministry of Food Processing does this. It basically stands for Geographical Index. This has been a tag given to every niche product from every state. And you know what? Do you know which state has highest number of GI tag? I'll give you a clue. It's in Bangalore. Okay, so let me answer. It's basically in Karnataka. So we are living in a land of GI tags. You have to identify which part of district has, for example, Gulbarga. Gulbarga has the best ahar dal, or what we call it as tur dal, or the lentils, the dal which we use every day at home. So GI tag is being tagged. We have black rice from Mizoram. We have the greatest lemon pineapples from Assam and Arunachal Pradesh. We have the small short grain rice from Kerala in a state called Wayanad, district called Wayanad. So similarly, we have land of oranges from Indore. Across India, we have everywhere GI tag. So if you identify a certain ingredient, and if that ingredient is used to create your particular food product, that becomes your IP, right? So in regards to this, there are a lot of manufacturers across India that you have to identify. So first thing is that go on Google, do an extensive research, identifying what kind of food product that who is creating it. Talk to them. What do we talk to them on? A few important aspects. First thing is that you have to identify whether they can create your own recipe. And the second point is that whether that recipe can be, hidden, or so-called it can be managed in certain intellectual property. Same time, they should not copy and release for someone else, or probably even they should not be able to manufacture. It's strictly manufacturer only for your product. So which means that they should be able to cater to your particular need. And the third thing is in terms of packaging. There are many types of packaging today to increase your shelf life. Today, foods are being preservatives with additives. I'm not saying it is bad or good for you, but if you really want to launch a great product in the market and also to attack the great price points, you have to work around with certain product which is already there in the market. And if, for example, Lay's, right? So today you have Lay's from PepsiCo, but you also have Balaji chips, you have Parley chips, you have so many tags from Bangalore company also. You've already been in Shark Tank. So everybody is in the segment of manufacturing in terms of food is concerned. Today, why we're talking about food? Food, only aspect in India is not grown to an extensive where anywhere in the world. For example, US, in UK, in Brazil, in Australia, we have so many food products in the company or in the country that not even 5% are there in India. It might be scattered, but it is not the private label that you have to work around with. For example, I spoke about a company called True Good, a greatest product. They make millets chicky. You know what I mean? The candy bar, not the candy bar. It's like the peanut bar, or so-called the chicky, what we call it as in a layman's language here in India. So they use millets, and who are the customers? They're selling it in Chhattisgarh and in Andhra and in Telangana. A guy has come from India, from US, returned, so he's doing this particular product. Why is it so important? Because he's identified that this product will sell. So whatever product that you're going to sell, you have to identify there's a market, and you would have to trust on the process and making sure that the packaging is also matters a lot. Why packaging is important? Today everything is all about packaging. Before even customer could taste your product is the brand value that they see. So making sure that they have something great importance regarding the packaging. It could be a nitrogen flush, it could be just a paper based, or it could be a sustainable product, it could be a sustainable packaging solutions, or it could be a retort food product technology, or it could be some kind of food technology which the packaging, or rather the food, is being packed well. So you have to work around with your packaging. And the greatest important point that you ever need to work around is your pricing. Now, what is pricing here, right? See, once you ideate and do a business plan across the market, right? So you need to know how well the pricing is adaptive to your market solutions. If your market doesn't accept, in this case, let's give a small example of Lace. Every nook and corner in Bangalore, the third shop is a chip shop, so-called the hot chips. Everybody sells the potato chips, but look at Haldiram's and what Balaji chips and what Lay's have done. They've packed in a greatest packaging, greatest flavored chips for 10 rupees for 10 grams. It's really expensive. Just imagine, for 1 kg is 1,000 rupees if you want to procure, right? So on a hot chips point of view, it's 100 grams for 40 rupees. So which means that it's around 400 rupees kg. That's a value difference that you get. End of the day, here you don't get branding in hot chips, it's just a plain transparent polythene bag which is being packed and sent. So these are the differences that you have. And also look at Lay's. They have the cheese, the American cheese, they have this tomato mix, they have this masalas recently which has been launched. So they have enough of flavored condiments based chips. Similarly, in hot chips you don't get it. So you have to talk in terms of the pricing is concerned very aptly and very precisely based on your order that you do. The sixth important point is that it's about the minimum order quantity. Today, manufacturer will put a guidelines, a norms rather, I would say terms and conditions, saying that, hey, you know what, you have to buy so much of product. If you're trying to do your own recipe, your own thing, this will cost you so much. So you have to have a target market already that you'll be able to showcase it. If you want to go online or offline, so be it, whatever the way is all about. You need to give a clear understanding to your manufacturer, saying, I would go ahead and do an entire batch of, let's say, 100 kg or 50 kg to start with. So work around with your MOQ and your pricing with your manufacturers. And the seventh important point is that look at the cost. Look in terms of the landing cost. Your cost is not only about your packaging, your design, also your product. It's also about the landing cost. If you're lucky enough within to source your manufacturers within your city, it's not a problem, but still, until it reaches your warehouse or your office or your space, until then the cost is calculated by the manufacturing. So work around, use pricing calculator to understand what is your landing cost. Now this landing cost will determine you in terms of what exactly is your cost price to make a product. This also includes your own time, your rentals, your electricity, whatever the operational expenditure has to be determined to come across a costing of MRP, maximum retail price. Based on that, you will go ahead and sell in your market. Again, if you're going on online, put in your logistics cost, put in your a lot of commissions in terms of packaging. If you're doing an online marketplaces, then you will have stockaging, so-called warehousing. Then you'll have also the external packaging cost and the bank transactional cost. So on your offline store, it's just a customer an MRP which is being placed well, you just go ahead and sell. If it is a bulk sales, you just go ahead and give in a volume. So make sure that you have minimum of net 30% profit margin on all these products. So you have to work around your mathematics and also your economy based on your discussion with your manufacturers. And the last important point which I want to live, which is very, very important and sacrosanct, is always treat your manufacturers as the customers. because if they go ahead and also do not do the right product time and again, you're going to have a bad value, and also your market will not accept you and they'll reject you, and at the end of the day you have to shut your business down. So treat your customers, treat your manufacturer as one of the greatest customer, because you're working with the customer. A customer would actually end up developing your life and your lifestyle, and your product sales can actually skyrocket the sales, provided you really sit with him and also to do a lot of R&D, do a lot of research and development, understanding the product, do a lot of tasting, a lot of testing, do a nutritional lab testing, look at the shelf life, you get involved in it. So these are the lines and techniques that you work on with the manufacturer. A manufacturer is professional, is well and good, because they would have already worked with private label. So put the norms in place. Basically get two kind of documents signed. One is your NDA, what we call it as, it's a non-disclosure agreement, just in case I mentioned previously that if you want to do an IP based system or an IP, intellectual property based ingredient, one extra ingredient makes a lot of difference, so put that in the NDA. And you have to sign an MOU. MOU is nothing but a memorandum of understanding, basically a contract and agreement between them that for a year or two I would do this, these are my MOQs, minimum order quantity, and these are the landing costs I would look at it, and these are my quality packaging rules, these are my production losses in terms of after landing, what if the product gets lost, the counting is less. So everything has to be matched and embedded in your MOU, making sure that you have a lot of discussions time and again before signing it, all these two documents. So these 2 points quickly to understand is that NDA and MOU, to one is that your non-disclosure agreement, making sure that your IP is only with you and the manufacturer, or he or other, he doesn't share with his own other clientele as he comes in to reproduce this particular ingredient. So have a time frame in place, have a timeline in place, have a pricing in place, and have all the legal clauses that have been embedded with it, and then you go ahead and do an agreement. Now, these are the quick points that you need to know to go ahead and identify a food manufacturer. If you do not able to find any other manufacturers, you can leave a comment section. I'll be happy to look at it. You can write me an email called rbsnllc@gmail.com. R for Romeo, B for Bangalore, S for sugar, N, RBSN, N for November, LLC@gmail.com. It's nothing but Royal Bangalore SN LLC@gmail.com is email ID. I'll be happy to go ahead and answer a whole lot of questions that you have. If you watch this video till this deep end, just go ahead and request you to go ahead that like, follow and subscribe and get this thing rolling for me. I really appreciate it. I am doing this content in YouTube and many other channels just to go ahead and flourish and make everybody join this bandwagon to launch a food product and create a brand and go pan-India and global within a year's time. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So sticking by and for listening. This is Paul signing off. Take care. Cheers and bye.